start.
Hi, this is Gene Krebs, and we're coming at you again with this is one of our more recent traveling video blogs we're doing here. We're in Lancaster, which is one of the communities that we're looking at trying to gain ideas and everything as to how to revitalize Ohio. But we're off on a little bit of a different non-Lancaster related tangent today. I have here with me today Tim White, who's editor of the Ohio Farmer magazine. It's a magazine that I've been reading now for at least 35 years, and but it is a primary method of communicating and getting information to and from the ag community in Ohio. We've been sitting here today talking to Tim a little bit about the Restoring Prosperity effort and the importance of helping the agricultural community understand how important it is to have a vital communities in their area, such as their county seat. Because just on the farmland preservation angle alone, if you really want to save farmland, this makes cities a more attractive place to live. So we want to sit here and talk to Tim a little bit today about how things are going. Thank you very much for agreeing to take some time out here and
Gene,
talk
glad to be here.
So, what insights do you have for us here about as we look at restoring prosperity to Ohio and the ag community in our small towns and rural communities?
I think one of the things that we pointed out is that this, just in the last year or so, agriculture has gone through a little bit of a prosperous time, and right now we're seeing some reinvestment in farm infrastructure, some reinterest maybe by some of the younger people in returning to farms and finding some of the new niches that are available to them in agriculture. And I think that there's kind of a strong feeling and a feeling of optimism among agriculture and farmers at this point.
One of the things we were talking about earlier is how important is it for the ag community to have a strong county seat, do you see?
Oh, I think that's very critical. Our agriculture is especially in Fairfield County here is centered around the county seat.
It's where everybody comes to shop, buy your equipment.
People come to shop, and as you mentioned, people come to have jobs there in the county seat. There's a great deal of commerce and interaction going on.
So both the farmers and their spouses often have an off-farm employment.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that off-farm employment perhaps is one of the big advantages to living in Ohio and being a farmer in Ohio, is that your spouse can have a job.
Yeah, in my what I think is a relatively young life, I've seen farm prices now peak at least farm commodity prices at least peak 4 times. I know they will bottom out again, and everybody seems to think that, wow, good times right here and they're going to stay here forever. And I go, yeah, it's about maybe a 7 to 12 year story arc, and we'll eventually overproduce and it'll go back down again. But as the rest of the world picks up with us, China now is looking to eat more protein, so it may be a longer story arc than that. But we have the farm community has an awful lot to offer Ohio that I don't think everybody quite always understands and appreciates at all points in time.
A great deal of our grain crop is exported, and you mentioned China. and I know that recently the railroad industry has taken some new steps, and you're familiar with the Heartland Corridor, which is being constructed in Rickenbacker, south of Columbus, and of course the fact that there's transportation, that there are roads and things that farmers can bring things
Lake
to
Erie,
market.
Ohio River.
Big advantage for the state of Ohio to be able to use those export markets, and of course that enables our grain prices to what's called the basis, our prices are a little bit better than they are if you live out in Nebraska, where you've got a long ways to haul something.
Basically, you fatten it up in the hogs and you haul out the hogs, you don't haul out the corn. One of the things that I've been talking a lot about recently is on December 3rd, the Ohio Department of Transportation's task force is going to issue its report. And there's been a lot of talk about the importance in that, about the movement of agricultural products and goods. They're heavy, they're bulky, and much of Ohio is very dependent upon it. So
and I think that's where this railroad involvement is pretty exciting, because I mean it makes sense that it's so much less expensive to put 100 people on a bus and drive one bus, or 100
Train.
cars on a train,
Train.
and drive one train,
Yeah.
than a whole series of automobiles. So,
Yeah.
big advantage in transportation.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Tim, I do want
You
to
bet,
thank you
Gene.
very much
Thank
for
you
this.
for coming
and
down.
this does prove I do know how to talk without a cup of coffee in my hand. But the next time you see me, I will have a cup of coffee in my hand because I think I do better with one. So thank you very much, and that's all for now.